Good morning, students. So, myself Sumati SK from CSE department. I am working here as assistant professor. So, in the last few sessions, you have gone through the module 1, that is application layer. So, you have understood what are the principles of application layer and the two important architectures, that is client server and peer to peer, and also a few important application layer protocols. So, that is DNS, HTTP, web, FTP, telnet. So, all of these protocols, how they work, how the messages are transmitted from one end to another. So, you have gone through this. So, the next module, so we are going to study about transport layer. So, this is the layer, that is the fourth layer in the TCP/IP protocol suite. So, it is this layer lies just below the application layer. So, you know that, so the whatever the applications, okay, an application developer develops, okay, in the application layer. So, those applications can able to run or can able to work properly only if there is the proper or the suitable services provided by the transport layer. Okay. So, transport layer services are very important for application layer. That means always the upper layers in the TCP protocol suite, okay, so they depend on the services provided by the bottom layers. So, here we know that this layer, okay, all of you know the TCP/IP layer. So, this is the application layer, below that we have transport layer, network layer, data link layer and physical layer. So, this one already we have gone through that. So, this transport layer, it lies just between the application layer and network layer. So, this transport layer, it takes the services from the network layer and it is providing the services in addition to this, and also it is providing the services to the application layer. Then only an application, okay, at the end systems it can able to run properly. So, here we know that the main function of transport layer is, you know that it provides logical communication between two processes which are running at the two different end systems. Okay. So, this is that the logical communication, so between two processes, whereas we know that network layer also provide logical communication, but it is between two hosts. So, that means whatever the delivery service, okay, which is provided by network layer in order to do the logical communication between two hosts, so that is quite improved or it is quite extended by the transport layer. So, it is also providing the logical communication, but it is between two processes which are running at the two end hosts. Okay. So, this is the main function. So, in this topic, so we are going to study what are the services provided by the transport layer, okay, transport layer services and also principles, okay, and also we are going to see or study in detail about the two important transport layer protocols. So, those two protocols you already know that. So, they are TCP and UDP. Okay. So, these two protocols we are going to study, okay, in detail. So, how these two protocols, they are providing services to the application layer, and how will be the segment format, okay, and how segment is transmitted to the application layer. So, all those things we are going to study in this module. In addition to this, okay, so here you know that TCP is a connection oriented protocol, okay, whereas UDP is connection less protocol. Okay. So, here compared to UDP, okay, so here depend on the applications, okay, the applications. So the application developer can use any one of this protocol, either TCP or UDP, okay. So depend on the application they can select, okay. So compared to UDP, TCP is also having a few few advantages, okay. So here compared to UDP, TCP is providing two more advantages, because UDP is a connectionless protocol, okay, and TCP, it can provide reliable data transfer, whereas here it is not providing a reliable, so it is non-reliable data transfer. So it is, that means TCP is going to provide a guarantee that the messages, okay, from one end it will reach the other end, okay. So there is a guarantee that, okay, but in UDP there is no guarantee that the message from sender to receiver can reach, okay, successfully. So that is what we call that non-reliable, okay. And since TCP is a connection oriented, so it is quite complex, whereas compared to the TCP, UDP is not that complex, so it is simpler one, okay. So and also two more important thing is, see, I already told that TCP is bit complex because it is providing a reliable data transfer, okay. So here, in order to provide reliable data transfer, obviously TCP will be complex one. So addition to that, okay, so we know that, see, reliability cannot be achieved so easily, okay, because sender has to make sure that a message has been reached the receiver successfully, okay, without any error or without any packet loss or drops, okay. And also to achieve this, okay, so the traffic, the another one main criteria is traffic, okay. So that is the traffic from sender to receiver excuse me. So here it must be regulated one, okay. So we know that if there is a huge traffic, then there may be possibility of congestion in the traffic, in the communication channel. So one more thing here we are going to study that, so how the congestion can be controlled in the traffic. So what are all the techniques the protocol, that is TCP, is going to use, okay, in order to avoid that congestion. So that is one technique. And another one important thing is, so how to make that data transfer as reliable. So this is also so very important, okay, in order to make that message to be sent from sender to receiver, so without any loss, okay, or without any drop in the packet or the message. So some reliable techniques or some reliable methods and congestion control techniques the protocol is going to follow. So we are going to see that what are those techniques. So how this protocol, that is mainly TCP, so how it is providing congestion control techniques, okay. So these are the things we are going to study in this module, okay. Let us start. The first topic is about introduction and transport layer services. Okay, TL stands for transport layer services. Okay, so I already told you that transport layer main function is providing logical communication between two processes which are running at two end systems. Okay, so here let us see that, because already you know the concept of the TCP IP, I would like to just recall those. Okay, so how actually the messages are sending from one host or one processor to the another process. So here all of you know that the topmost layer is application layer. So here the data is called as messages. So assume that this is at the sender side. Okay, a sender will send a message some application or a data chunk of application message to the receiver. So from this application layer, so then it will go to the transport layer. So here we know that encapsulation and decapsulation, so how it happens. So as in as here, from application layer, messages enter into the transport layer. So this messages, it is encapsulated inside the transport layer segments. Okay. So now the data unit in transport layer is called segments. So if it is a TCP protocol, it is called segment. Suppose in UDP, so it is called as datagram. Okay. So now the segments, it is encapsulating the application layer messages. So from transport layer, so it will go to the network layer. Okay. So the below layer is network layer. So here we call it as packets, or sometimes they may call datagrams. Okay. So now this segment, okay, from the transport layer, so here it will send it to the network layer as a packet. So now packet, see here whatever the network layer, okay, whatever the technology or whatever the protocol in the network layer, so okay, so their job is only to send this packet to the receiving host. Okay, so they are not going to bother about so how this encapsulation, okay, done in the transport layer and what are the services. So those things, okay, it is not going to bother. Okay, so now the segments, okay, from transport layer it will send to network layer, and these segments are encapsulated inside the packets. Okay, now from this sender it will, so this is at the sender side. Okay, so below we have the data link and physical layer. So all those things, okay, together I am just combining it as in a network layer. Okay, from this it will go to receiver side. So as you know that, okay, so now the receiver, okay, host, it will receive this. Okay, so at the network layer, same, it is in the form of packets. Okay, so then above this we have transport layer. What it will do, it will extract the segments from the network layer packets. So it will extract segments. Okay, so from this packets, so it will extract the segments. So what are all the transport layer protocols are there, so they will just extract the segments, okay, from the packets, and then they will send it to application layer. So here the job of transport layer is, or the transport layer protocol is, so from the network layer, okay, whatever the data is there, so that is data is stored in the packets. It will extract that packet, okay, from the network layer, okay, and that data it will send it to the application layer. Okay, so this is what we call that, it is decapsulation. So this is encapsulation. So whereas this is decapsulation. Okay, so it will just extract whatever the protocol, it may be TCP or UDP. So it will take the data from the below network and it will analyze that, okay, analyze that data, okay, because we already know that, okay, in a system, in an end system, there are multiple processes are running or multiple applications are running. For example, it may be at the same time the user is playing some game, or he may typing, or he may open a email, okay, or at the same time he is listening to some music. Okay, so multiple processes are running. So here as soon as transport layer it gets the message, okay, or gets the data from the network layer, so it will analyze that to which process, okay, in that application, that is in that host, to which application process that data needs to be sent. Okay, so depend on that, okay, the field, because the segment is having some fields, So depend on that, it will analyze to which process that data has to be sent, and it will send to the appropriate application process. Okay, so this is the main, that is the service of the transport layer. At the sender side, okay, it is encapsulating the data which is coming from the application layer, and it will create a segment and it will just forward that or send it to the below layer, that is network layer. At the receiver side, the transport layer job is whatever the protocol is there, it will just receive the data which is coming from the below network layer, and it will extract the application data from that, and it will send it to the appropriate application process which is running at the on the receiver host. Okay, so this is the main function of transport layer. So here in this module we are concentrating on only this transport layer. So how it is receiving the segment, how it is transmitting the segments. Next topic is relationship between transport layer and network layer. Okay, so we know the functions of transport layer and network layer. So the main difference between transport layer and network layer is network layer provides logical communication between two hosts. It is a host to host communication, whereas transport layer, it provides logical communication between two processes which are running on two different end systems. So transport layer is a process to process communication. So we can analyze that what is the difference between these two with a simple example. Okay, I will take an example that, so assume that, okay, there is a house in Delhi. Okay, so here there is a family. Okay, so here there are parents are there, and 4 kids are here. Okay, so they have, let us name them as ABCD, and there is another family in Bangalore. We just assume that. So here also there are 4 kids and they live with their parents. Let us name them as EFGH. Okay, so now the ABCD and EFGH, they are cousins. Okay, so actually since they are far away, but they want to communicate with their cousins, and they like to write letters to their cousins. Okay, so obviously these 4 cousins, okay, they write to their cousins every week. Okay, and they write letters to their cousins in Delhi. Okay, every week they are writing to their cousins. Okay, so here you know that here assume that A, the first kid in Delhi, in this house. Okay, so he is having responsibility that, so collecting the letters, okay, from all the kids, even himself also. So collecting all the letters and distributing it to the postal, that is to the postman. Same thing here also. Okay, in Bangalore, okay, the first kid, okay, he is responsible for collecting all the letters and distributing. So you know that, okay, so door to door, okay, so door to door here letter service, it is done by postal service. Okay, a postman will come. Okay, so assume that he will collect all the letters from here and he will send that. Same thing also, okay, in the reverse direction. So here door to door this sending and receiving letter, it will be done by postal service. Whereas once the letter arrives, so here in this house A will be responsible for, and he will collect, and based on that, okay, he is just distributing the letters to the other kids there also. Okay, so now we can compare this with our network also. So here these houses are like hosts. Okay, in network we call them host, no, like that. And this postal service are like, it is network layer. Okay, because it is postman is delivering the letter from house to house, so it is like the network layer. There is a host to host communication. So how many letters are there? He will just drop to that particular house. Okay. So next is, okay, transport layer. Okay. So here the transport layers are these two kids. That is the kid one, that is A and E. Okay, because as soon as the letters arrive, so they will collect and distribute it. And also as soon as all these kids they write their letters, he will collect and give it to the postman. So these A and E are, they act as the transport layer. And all these kids are there, no? So they are acting as processes. Okay, so there are 4 processes here, and also there are 4 processes on the another side of the host. Okay, so here, and application layer is that is the message. Application layer message is this letters. Okay, so whatever the letters these kids are writing, no, so they are considered as the application layer messages. Okay, so now we can understand very clearly the difference between transport layer and network layer. See, the postman job is what? He is just delivering the letters from door to door. Okay, once he dropped to that house, so he is not bothering about whether that letter, because here there are 4 cousins, okay, 4 kids are here. So he is not going to bothering about that, whether that letter reaches that particular person or to the particular child. So his job is based on the home address, he will just deliver it to the door. Same thing also network layer. Okay, so in the network layer we have internet protocol. Okay, so internet protocol, that job is just to send the messages or packets from one host to the another host, and there is no guarantee that, so IP is, it is also called best effort delivery service. That is, it will make its effort to deliver the packets or messages to the destination, but there is no guarantee. Okay, so only that job is postman. So it is similar to the network layer protocol. Next, see, inside this host, okay, there are many processes are there, and here one of the process we call, or one of the kid is here A. So it is considered as a one of the transport layer protocol. So this job is what? So A is providing services, he collecting the letters and distributing that. So it is similar to the transport layer protocols. Okay, so whatever the data arrived, okay, from the network, so at the receiver end, so it will get the letter from the postman. That is, it is getting the data from the network layer, and based on that address, so he is going to distribute it to that particular kid. That means to that particular process. Like that, here also A is acting as a transport layer. So his job is to collect all the letters. That means here whatever the messages are there, okay, from different applications, it will collect, and then it will send that messages or data chunks to the network layer. Okay, so this is what happened at the sender side. So this A and E are providing services. Okay, so now, okay, so they are considered as transport layer. And next is, okay, this A, B, C, D, F, G, H, they are different processes, like different applications, they are running on the same host. Okay, and these two are like 2 different computers. Okay, so with this analogy, so we can understand clearly that, okay, so network layer job is only host to host. So it is not going to bother about whether that message has successfully reach the particular destination. So that means it is the job of the transport layer protocols to see that whether that intended message has been received by the intended recipient. Okay, so that's why IP, Internet Protocol, it is not a reliable protocol, it is unreliable. So that's why, in order to see that whether data has been reached to the receiver successfully, so this network layer, okay, it relies on the transport layer. It will just give that job, okay, to the transport layer. So transport layer will take care of all this, okay, whether the data has been successfully transferred. Okay, so this is that. So with this analogy we can clearly understand the difference between transport layer and network layer. Okay, so transport layer services are very important to the application layer. Okay, so here in this case application layer messages means letters. Okay, so whether letters are reached to the particular person, so it is a job of what? A and E. So they are acting like a TCP or UDP protocols. So their job is to do that. For example, suppose due to some reasons, assume that so A, okay, he is not going to do that. So due to some unavoidable circumstances, he will just give it to some other kid. For example, B. Okay, so B is also doing, but he is not that much active. See, sometimes he may give the letters, or sometimes after some time, okay, he forgot to give that, and after 2 days or 3 days he is going to give that. Okay, so that is the service provided by B. Like that also here, okay, F will take that in charge and he is going to collect and distribute, but he is not that much eager. Okay, as soon as it comes, E and A, they are collecting and distributing, but F is not that much efficient, so he is bit lazy. So he is collecting and distributing the letters, okay, very late, or sometimes the other kids may not able to get the letters in proper time. So this is because that is the service offered by these two kids. Okay, so that means it is depend on the protocol also. So what protocol we are selecting? So earlier A and E we have selected, so they were doing good. Okay, in time they are collecting and distributing, but now we have now selected, now it is B and F. Okay, maybe now these, okay, they are not as much efficient as A and E. Like that also in network also we have different protocols at the layer. Okay, so one protocol will be providing one type of service and another protocol will be having some other disadvantages. So based on the application or the process which is running at the application layer, so we need to decide so what type of services, okay, transport layer has to give, whether we have to select TCP or UDP. Understood? So this is the difference between transport layer and network layer. So network layer is host to, this is like host to host communication. Okay, whereas this one transport layer is, it is process to process. So there is a reliable data transfer is there, whereas here there is no guarantee that it is a reliable data transfer. And also one more thing, I told you that transport application layer depend on the transport layer services. Like that, transport layer also depend on the network layer. Okay, because here A will collect all the letters and he will give it to the postman. Suppose here in the middle postman, okay, there may be some delay may occur. Okay, so in time postman cannot send that letter to the another host or another place. Okay, so this may also take place. So this host to host communication, okay, so it is also very important. So because if letters are not reached to that host, then obviously that letters cannot able to reach to the these kids. So this process to process communication which is provided by the transport layer, it is depend on the services provided by the network layer. Okay, So this is very important. So always the upper layer protocols or depend on the services provided by the bottom layer protocols. If postman cannot able to send the letters, then process to process communication cannot be possible. Okay, so if that letter reaches the house, then only they can do that. If that letter doesn't reach, then that letter cannot be reached to the particular person in that house. Okay, so this is that difference, major difference between or the relationship between transport layer and network layer. So there is a dependency among all the layers. Okay, that means all the layers should work together, so then only there will be a communication from one end to the another end. Okay, so this is about the relationship between transport layer and network layer. We have gone through that what is the important function of transport layer and the relation between transport layer and the network layer. Okay, so next is, let us go through an overview, okay, a quick review of transport layer. Okay, so here in transport layer there are two important protocols are there, which are that they are TCP and UDP. Okay, so here TCP is what? It is a transmission control protocol. UDP is what? User datagram protocol. So here TCP is connection oriented protocol. So what is the meaning of this connection oriented? That means, suppose if the transport layer it is using TCP, then the both ends, that is sender and receiver, okay, before sending their messages, first there must be a connection establishment. Okay, so first a connection establishment phase or stage will be there, and after that only whatever the message is sent by sender, it will reach to the receiver. So that's why it is called connection oriented. Okay, and the next one is reliable data transfer. So this protocol, it provide reliability. Okay, so when a sender sends the messages, okay, so there is a guarantee that, so this protocol will take care of that, the data will reach the destination in time and in order. Because in transport layer, okay, whatever the data it is received from the network layer, okay, so we call it as a segment. So transport layer, it will give the sequence to that segments. Okay, sequence number is going to be given and a timer is going to be attached and acknowledgement is also going to be attached. So based on this, the receiver can able to, after receiving, so based on the sequence number, again the receiver will reorder that segments. Okay, and also since timer is attached, so receiver will come to know that, so within time all the segments has been reached. So by doing this, so this protocol is providing a reliable data transfer, whereas this is not possible in the IP. Okay, in the below layer we have internet protocol, that is in the network layer. So IP, it will make it best to provide a reliable data transfer, but there is no guarantee that. Okay, there is no guarantee in providing that. That's why, so it is depending on the services provided by the transport layer. And one more characteristics of TCP is flow control. Okay, so this TCP, it is providing a flow control, means the traffic. Okay, the traffic which is the segments which are flowing in the traffic, it must be a regulated one. So that is going to taken care by TCP, because if it is not regulated, then it will create congestion. Okay, if there is a busty traffic, okay, sometimes the traffic may be slow. Okay, so then it has to take care of that and make the traffic to be regulated one. So next one is congestion control. Okay, so here suppose if there is any congestion takes place, so this TCP is going to implement some congestion control techniques in order to avoid those congestion. So these are the important features, and because this is a connection oriented and reliable data transfer, so this is quite complex. Next is UDP. See, UDP is, if we compare this, it is a connectionless protocol, and this is it is unreliable, the data transfer, it is not providing a reliability. So there is no guarantee that data from sender will reach the receiver in time. So it is not going to give that guarantee, and there is no flow control, congestion control mechanism. It is not provided by UDP. Okay. So wherever, in which application we need a connectionless, okay, so then those applications can select UDP, and whichever applications which are running on the application layer, they want a connection oriented and reliable data transfer, so they will select TCP as their protocol in the transport layer. Okay. Actually, multiplexing and demultiplexing, so with respect to transport layer is, I already told you that, see, network layer is providing host to host communication, isn't it? So this thing we already know that. So extending this host to host communication delivery service to process communication, okay, by transport layer. So that is what we call that multiplexing and demultiplexing. Okay, because whatever this delivery service host to host, so because of transport layer, it is extending that to process. So that is what we call that process we call that multiplexing and demultiplexing. Let us see that in detail. So how it is extending host to host to process communication. So let us see that. Let us take this example. So in this example, we can clearly understand what is multiplexing and demultiplexing in a transport layer. Okay, so these 5 layers, all of you know that. See, assume that there are 3 hosts. Okay, so in the middle one we have one host. So assume that in the first host there is only one process is running. Let us call it as P3. Again, in the middle host there are 2 processes are running. Okay, and in the last host there is one process, that is P4. It is running. Okay, so now see, now assume this is the sender. Okay, so it has only one process. So now it wants to send its application message. See, all of you already know that in the previous module. Okay, so from application layer, so whatever the data chunks are there, so when it goes to transport layer, okay, so it is not going directly. Okay, so we need some door or a way. Okay, so that door means what? Here it is called socket. So socket is the application programming interface. So here this one, this is, we call it as, this is socket. So this is the process. Okay, so here from application layer the data chunks, okay, from this process P3, so through the socket it will go to the, it will transfer to the transport layer. Okay, so now in the transport layer it will just encapsulate this data chunks or application messages in its segment, and then it will forward it to the network layer. Okay, so now see, this process of, okay, collecting the data chunks, okay, from different applications, okay, and after collecting, what actually socket is doing, it is just forwarding or transferring that all the data chunks to the transport layer. Okay, and then transport layer will transfer it to the below network. So this process we call it as, it is multiplexing. Okay, collection of data chunks, okay, by the socket and delivering or transferring that data chunks to the transport layer, so or to the below network, which is called as multiplexing. Okay, so next, See, as soon as this message, it is received by the network here in the second host, in the middle host. But here there are two processes are running. One is P1 and P2. See, as soon as transport layer receives that, okay, it will extract the data. See, after extracting, it will come to know that there are two processes running in this application layer. Okay, that is P1 and P2. So we all know that. Okay, so each and every process, okay, they are associated with a socket address or port number. So these segments, okay, that is which is extracted from the network layer. So after analyzing, the transport layer will come to know that. So based on the segment, that segment is having different fields. Okay, so those fields will give the information to which socket or to which port that message has to be delivered. So after receiving the packets, okay, that is segments from the network layer, so the transport layer will send that data to the socket. It is not sending directly to the process. First it will send the socket, but before sending it to the socket, transport layer should know what is that is to which process or to which socket that message or data should be delivered. So how it will transport layer comes to know that it is already stored or encapsulated in the transport layer segment. Okay, segment is having different fields. In that we have port number also, that is destination port number. It is having source port number and destination port number. So the messages which is coming from this, so this is the source port number of this socket, and now this is the destination. So since there are two processes, so by knowing the port number, so it will just deliver that message to the appropriate process through the socket. Okay, so this process is called, that is, it is receiving. So this is demultiplexing. The transport layer will collect the data from the network layer and deliver it to the appropriate process through the appropriate socket. Because, so in this example we have considered two processes, but in reality there may be multiple application processes are running. So out of those, so how it is going to identify, so to this process or to this socket the segment has to be, or the data has to be sent, it is based on the port number. Okay, so port number or port address or the socket address is very essential. So it is stored in the segment itself. Okay, so this process it is called demultiplexing, that is delivering data from network layer to the appropriate process through the appropriate socket. So that is done by transport layer. It is called demultiplexing. And if you observe that, see, after receiving, so we have one more process here. Okay, now it is sending process. P2 is sending process. It is sending message from second host to the third host. So in this middle host, it is doing both multiplexing and also demultiplexing. Okay, so it will demultiplex here, and now this job is what? So here again the same transport layer, it is doing multiplexing. It will collect all the data chunks from the application process and through that socket, so it is sending it to the below network layer. So this is what we call that, it is multiplexing. Again here in the third one, okay, third host, okay, it is receiving. It is receiving the message from the previous host, that is the second host. So here what actually it is happening, it is demultiplexing. Okay, it is collecting the data from the below network layer, that is below network, and sending that data. So transport layer, what it will do, it will extract the data from that packet and it will send that data to the particular process, okay, through the appropriate socket. Okay, so this process we call it as multiplexing and demultiplexing. It is nothing but, so whatever is the host to host communication is that which is done by network layer, it is extending that service to process to process. Okay, so here in the first host it is multiplexing is done, whereas here it is demultiplexing, whereas in the second host it is doing both multiplexing and also demultiplexing. Okay, so this is what we call that multiplexing and demultiplexing with respect to the transport layer. Understood? Okay, so this is about the multiplexing and demultiplexing which is done in transport layer. Okay, thank you.